Hey, this is Eric Summer. We love WCOM, trying to support this great, wonderful station every chance we get.
Grand Rising, all you drum lovers and shamanic type spirit world. Intruder is of course never intruding on the spirit world, although kind of feels like is intruding on our ordinary reality sometimes, but that's okay because we learn how to navigate. And here at Legends from the Painted Cave, WCOM FMLP, that's kind of our gift or genre or I don't know, our thing, right? We like to talk about spirit and how to how to get out of our ordinary reality, our regular old monkey mind, and over into our intuition and the feelings that can guide us into a much more pleasurable and agreeable, and move us out of suffering and lack mentality and this desire to have and to clutch and to grasp and to attain, and moving away from that a little bit and listening to that small still voice that can that is much more how would you say that, Ian? Better or
awareness,
agreeable. It's a better feeling to feel better.
It's like a contentment, to be content with it all.
It's always one more button to push on this switchboard, I tell ya. Welcome to Legends from the Painted Cave, WCOM FMLP. I just went on a little rant for 2 minutes, and okay, you didn't miss anything. We'll regurgitate some more. Ian, good to have you in the studio. Ever faithful, ever present. Beautiful Ian.
Thank you for having me. Grand Rising, everybody.
Grand Rising, everybody. Happy New Now.
What up, Mystics?
What up, Mystics? Ho, ho, ho. Oh, well, I guess Santa is a mystic.
He is.
Yeah. The Santa Claus religion. Why isn't there a Santa Claus religion? What the heck?
It's called consumerism.
Oh, bam. I wholeheartedly feel that was not
his intention.
Grandma and Grandpa Santa's initial intention.
No, that's like any religion. You look at what they're really saying and then witness what the humanity and society has turned it into.
Ooh, we gotta make money on this one.
Yeah. Or just shifting the ideas when most religions are talking about going within, but they're like, nope, only come here and listen to us, and yeah.
Okay,
Make sure you
tell
pay
me
us.
what to do.
Yeah.
Tell me where to go. Give me some prayers to say, and let God sort it out. I just am trying to keep shoes on the kids' feet. Hey, Hiccups.
Blessed.
Blessed.
Oh, we love you.
So, you notice I'm solo today in the studio. Well,
solo.
with you.
I was thinking solo. I was like, what's wrong?
Let me tell you all about my victim persona.
Look what it's done to me.
You don't mind if we cry here?
It hates you. If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all.
Safe space to have bad luck. Bring in your bad luck, because we are the Transformers. Well, the medicine drum is, actually.
you yourself are the transformer.
Yeah. Brittany,
Bridget.
she is here in spirit. She's going to call in
Good.
here shortly. Her tummy wasn't feeling well early this morning.
Oh, no.
And we actually drove home last night.
I was thinking something happened.
Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah, they change your cars and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, well, that was a giveaway.
And I get you're missing a whole person with you. That also.
She is a
says
whole
it.
person, even becoming wholer or holier. Love words, you know. Immediately when I said holier, I imagined like a person dressed in clothes that had holes in them.
It kind of makes sense though, that holiness. It's like you're whole, but becoming holy is sort of dissolving pieces of yourself.
Transparency.
Transparency.
I'm looking through. I'm looking through you. You're not the same. La 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 la. I'm looking through you. You're not the same.
To see through yourself.
That was like Beatles rendition there. Yeah. They only recorded like 8 years or something. Super short career. I had no idea.
No way.
10 years was really short.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess that was, well, it would have been longer, but John, passing would have.
They were breaking up before that.
They were,
But
but
they might have stayed together.
I don't believe
you
it would have been permanent for
Yeah.
some reason. I'm like, they had more they wanted to say.
Rest in peace, old Beetle man.
They needed a little time to grow separately. Because, I mean, at some point,
They
it's
grew
like.
up together.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
They
like
did.
they grew up together from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all taking the same journey. So for them to kind of disperse,
Growing up.
take their own lessons, and then come back together.
Mm.
Wow.
One of my favorite albums, hey lady, was the Rooftop Session in New York. Did you ever catch that one?
I've seen the snippets, especially the one where John Lennon just like rambles for a second, because you can tell he forgets the words, so he just like makes some noise with his mouth.
In the middle of the song?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and George Harrison's cracking up, and Paul McCartney looks so angry.
Oh. Give him the evil eye.
Yeah, George is like cracking up, smiling, and Paul's just like, kind of
Doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
you
what are
little
you doing, man?
You always do this. Chaos man.
It honestly sounds so cool. The ramble, it's like that should have been in there from the start.
Well, announcements. Ian, do you have any announcements?
Happy New Now is coming up in just a second. There it was.
How's it going? Yeah. It's back.
We will be at Alchemy Wellness on the 13th in Sanford. What are the times for that?
6 to 7:30
Okay.
p.m.
Always in Carborough on Sundays,
Mhm.
5:30 to 7:30. Town Commons. Welcome to all.
Stay tuned for more Drum Journey locations.
More coming your way soon enough.
Lovely to see you again, Kat, at the Drum Journey last night outside under the stars at the park. And Louie, Ian, of course, and me, Legends from the Painted Cave.
The legend himself.
Yeah, I'm kind of moving in that direction. Well, for one thing, I'm old. You know, I'm 67, so people tend to get into the legendary status, starting to get in their older 60s. Wherever we find ourselves, you know, at any station of life, anybody really. Well, Shikori Hills, of course. The legendary, speaking of legends, this will be their 41st festival this May. First weekend of May and first weekend of October. Twice a year, camping festival, 4 days. Huge kids activity area. It's all free. Arts and crafts, dancing, drumming, kinds of cool stuff. There's what's my friend's name? But he's a beekeeper, and he'll be there teaching how to keep bees. Alan, yeah. And his festival will
Honeybee
be
Hemp Fest.
Honeybee Hemp Fest will be in September. It's the beginning of September, so we'll be updating that with everybody too. Keep you informed. We have a whole bunch of festivals we're going to again this year, so if you are interested in that, get a hold of legendsfromthepainted.cave@gmail.com, and that's a direct communication to Hiccups, the Legends from the Painted Cave promotional manager, and he'll get you hooked up on festivals and whatever you need. He's a Renaissance man. He's got a mechanic, musician, artist,
A legend.
crazy eye. He lives his life in an other octave. He's so sweet. So he comes over and he detunes the guitar so it's out of
Yes.
tune, and that's how he plays the guitar. I mean, it's like it's out of tune. And but then when he gets going, he gets used to the out of tune, and it comes in tune and becomes familiar again to the ordinary ear. Yeah, it's quite amazing.
What a magician.
Yeah, he's a magic man, magi. Yeah, festivals, legends. Were you gonna say that?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
speaking of legends, you give it.
Legends of the Fall in Hope Mills, I believe, near Raleigh. So check that out. Legends of the Fall. That's a 2-day sort of Renaissance type fair. Dress up like that, and you know, there's people around in armor, and they have kind of like dueling and
Fairies. Dragons, magic, music, comedy, and more.
and more. Yeah, well, the more is us. We'll
Here
be
we
there
are.
at the medicine drum. Banging away. Banging your blues away.
Banging on my drum all day.
Drum, that's all I want to do. And then, so that's the last weekend of April. Then Shikori's the next weekend. And then Casual Campout is the following weekend. We have 3 Drum Journey events. Casual Campout is a little north of Raleigh, I think. So they're all right in the area. Shikori is volunteer, so anybody can volunteer and get your ticket free. It's like 8 to 12 hours depending on which crew you're running.
Yeah, plenty of options during the festival, as well as before and after. I believe they're also looking for people to work more on the promotional side prior to the festival. So if you don't want to interplay work and play, then yeah, you can always sign up and help out prior to it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they
That
added
wasn't in
something
my-
recently about more on the advertisement side, and getting the word out is also a job you can volunteer for.
Let's move into a drum journey. Bridget, formerly known as the forming, let's see, how did, what's that? Prince kind of had a thing that says the performer who was formerly known as Brittany is now Bridget, or Princess. And she has retired to Midway, and we are so thrilled to have her with us. Midway Healing Arts and Crafts Center, or Midway Wellness Center, and Medicine Drum. Medicine Drum friends and family. So go ahead and let's start taking some breathing, some conscious breathing. Long breath in, long breath out. Just follow your breath as the breath, healing breath. It's moving through your body. Watch your breath moving through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. We're moving into relaxation. Allow your mind to move into dream state. And if not, that's okay too. Just enjoy the rhythm. No wrong way to do this meditation. Floating downstream. Are you my animal guide, my spirit guide? Do you have a gift for me? The wind feel through your hair on your face. Floating downstream. animals on the shoreline greeting you as you float by. As you're floating, you notice you're becoming younger and younger and younger. And a toddler. And a younger child, an infant in your mother's arms, floating downstream. Follow the path back into your mother's womb. The warmth and security and protection there. And smaller and smaller. And back to the seed in your mother's belly. You are now your mother, and your mother's mother, and her mother. And all the mothers, all our ancestors. Continuing back in time. And the animals are there. Your pets and the wild ones. The earth animal kingdoms. Walking on the earth. And the flying, the feathered. The ancient memories of the medicine people. The healers. The herbalists. Foraging for their medicines, the men and women. And you bring back your plants and mushrooms and barks, twigs and flowers back to your little primitive kitchen with the fire going medicines. For the many discomforts that people may have, to alleviate and bring healing, to alleviate suffering, to bring about wholeness. I am medicine. Medicine through my whole body. Healing, cleansing, vibrating. Thank you, Great Spirit, that I may bring these gifts to the people in service, gratitude and humility. Thank you. Returning now, following your timeline back from the ancestors to the seed in your mother's womb, growing there. Safe and comfy. Growing, and out you come and into your mother's arms. Growing, learning, curiosity and wonder leading all the way. Back into your current consciousness and awareness, your newly improved, vibrationally enhanced, beautiful body, your very own, your one and only. Thank you. Long, deep breaths when you're ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A few more long, deep breaths. Long breath in, long breath out. Welcome back. A legend. We're all legends. We're perfectly perfect just the way we are. We have to learn how to grow into that truth. What we do and what happens to us and our thoughts and actions and emotions are just exactly what is necessary, because if they weren't, or our life or activities that are happening to us and happening around us that they were not supposed to be, life would be another way. But life is not another way. Life is just the way life is for us. So it must be the right thing. Doesn't always feel that great. You know, there's some suffering involved, but this is a great awareness. Say, well, yeah, you know, this is hurting, but if I was not to be in this moment, I would be in another moment, so this must be the right one. And we grow and learn, especially in hindsight. We say, oh, okay, I see why that had to happen. Because I have gained a new perspective, a new awareness, a new kindness, a new grace, a new kind of kindness, a new kind of kindness for my kin. Kindling the flame of ever-loving kindness. One day at a time, one moment at a time. In The Alchemist, there's so many famous little sayings. He says, and remember, there is, no matter what you do or who you are or where you go, there is only one thing. Everything is one thing. Took me a while to really kind of roll that over in what one thing. No, silliest thing I ever heard. I mean, look at everything. It's all different. Shapes and sizes and colors and smells and
Beautiful collage.
Ian, what's that one thing he's talking about? Because that's kind of a mystery there. Wait a minute, what's that supposed to mean?
For the Star Wars fans, it's the Force.
Good one.
The ever flow of life.
Trust, Luke.
I prefer to call it love.
Wherever you are, there you are. Presence, be present. It's all one thing. Breath. I was telling Bridget about that, Brittany, on the way home. Because she's like, can we drive home? I'm like, it's all the same thing to me.
Yeah.
If I'm driving home with you, or I'm working on the car, or cleaning the toilet, I mean, it's presence. It's being in the moment. No matter what my hands are doing,
just being
still there in the moment, saying thank you. Blessed.
That's
So that's kind of what I feel like. Everything's one thing. It's the present moment, and the beauty, and the breathing. Grand Rising. Let's get the, let's see, that's not the right one. Call inline. We're going to try that. Brittany.
Can you hear me again? Yes, can you hear me?
I hear you in the headphones.
Do you hear me in the headphones?
Yeah.
So that's good. So you're
Yeah,
on
you're
the
on.
air. You're on the air.
On the air.
With Legends
How
from
are
the
y'all
Painted
doing?
Cave. We've got a couple of legends in here. And you are the third one. The triad.
The Trinity.
The Trinity. Wow, we have a whole, well, I'm just noticing we have a whole new CD stack over here.
Oh, yeah?
But it looks like the call-in line is right, but we should be hearing her over
Yeah, we are.
speakers here in the studio. And I have all those on. Let's try that. Is this Bridget or Brittany?
This is Brittany.
Brittany?
Yes, this is Brittany.
Cool.
Bridget's asleep.
Bridget. Good.
Bridget's
Maybe that'll rub
sleeping.
off on Brittany. What you doing?
So have you guys made any profound, enlightened statements yet? Because I don't want to follow that if you did.
Everything is one thing.
Everything is one thing.
Presence. Be here now. This moment is the
That's-
only.
That's so interesting that you said that, because I'm sitting outside reading Eckhart Tolle right now is what I was doing.
All right, flip to a random page and give us what we need to hear.
Okay. Well, I don't follow directions well, so it's not a random page. It's what I was reading, and this is what you need to hear. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
There is only one absolute truth, and all other truths emanate from it. When you find that truth, your actions will be in alignment with it. Human action can reflect the truth, or it can reflect illusion. Can the truth be put into words? Yes, but the words are, of course, not it. They only point to it. The truth is inseparable from who you are. Yes, you are the truth. If you look for it elsewhere, you will be deceived every time. The very being that you are is truth. Jesus tried to convey that when he said, I am the way and the truth and the life. These words uttered by Jesus are one of the most powerful and direct pointers to the truth, if understood correctly. If misinterpreted, however, they become a great obstacle. Jesus speaks of the innermost I am, the essence identity of every man and woman, every life form, in fact. He speaks of the life that you are. Some Christian mystics have called it the Christ within. Buddhists call it your Buddha nature. For Hindus, it is Atman, the indwelling God. When you are in touch with that dimension within yourself, and being in touch with it is your natural state, not some miraculous achievement, all your actions and relationships will reflect the oneness with all life that you sense deep within. This is love. Laws, commandments, rules, and regulations are necessary for those who are cut off from who they are, the truth within. They prevent the worst excess of the ego, and often they don't even do that. Love and do what you will, said St. Augustine. Words cannot get much closer to the truth than that. Whew. Boom. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it.
Put that in your pipe. Smoke it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I love Eckhart Tolle, and I love Jesus, and I love the way that he talks about Jesus and trying to get Jesus' true message and meanings out there.
Christ consciousness.
If that makes sense. Exactly, Christ consciousness.
Godhead.
Yeah. Christ is not about religion. And my grandmother's listening right now, and she's probably fainting. But
She's fainting, yeah.
she's a wonderful religious woman. And I'm not anti-religion, but I mean, Jesus was absolutely against the church, and there can be a lot of, hypocrisy, and they use, the church as a weapon against people. So.
I love when this happens. I feel like we have private conversations here, and then a guest will come on later on in the show and align with what we were saying earlier. Like, yeah, the synchronicity's there.
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Synchronicity. Oh, we just said synchronicity at the same time. That's a double synchronicity. Yeah, man.
No, during the drum journey, I know Kurt mentioned something about making the medicine or brewing it up in like a pot, and I witnessed myself like dropping my own self into the broth. Like I was my own medicine. Like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's all about just going within, finding
going
yourself.
within. That's powerful, and I absolutely agree. Going within. I mean, this is something else, like talking about spiritual or religious or mystical things. God, I say God just because it's God to me, and it's natural and it's easy. And then sometimes I get frustrated when I'm in prayer because I have a vast spiritual belief system. I will catch myself when I'm going into prayer, like getting caught up on verbiage, and like call God, Jesus, Creator, spirit, great spirit, source, like what? And I start feeling this pressure to like do a roll call and call them all out, even though it's one creator. Like I believe in one God who created everything. And then I'm like, why do you think God, spirit, whatever, needs you to like roll call? You know,
No.
like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call him, it, her. None of that matters. It just doesn't. But I still catch myself in prayer almost every time, like feeling this pressure to acknowledge all of the names. And I was like, those are just names, Brittany. Like, why are you stressing over this?
No, whatever term you want to put on it, it already is fully aware and with you.
Absolutely.
It is that humor of
So
like.
that's something. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's like saying, "God, please be with me," and like, it's already with you, always.
Yeah.
Or wishing,
Yes.
or asking for something, or wishing for something, or like, it already knows. You don't have to ask. Like, if you're already having that thought, like, it already knows. You don't have to repeat it or anything.
Interesting. So, Ian, I get what you're saying, and that makes me curious because I have a friend who really doesn't pray that much, not because of the lack of faith in God, but because he goes, like, it's already done, you know?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I don't notice myself praying as much as just gratitude and thanks, because I was talking to a buddy, Sheil, and he was talking about how silly it is to think that we know what we want and what's best for us. And oftentimes with that magic, it's like you have to be, it's always that genie trick. Like, you have to be careful what you ask for, because, like, it may come with a price. So it's almost leaving it open to the source to give you what you need. Only it knows. And it always gives you what you need. So, yeah, just roll with it and say thank you.
You just gave me a mind grenade. Now I'm going to have to think about that all day. because I'm an avid prayer person, you know? But what you said just made me start thinking perhaps not praying or not asking for things is like the ultimate act of faith, and just saying thank you. Like, who am I to feel like I need to tap God on the shoulder and be like, hey, you need to protect my family. You need to help. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost arrogant, like, thinking about it.
I wouldn't say arrogance.
Right.
But yeah, it's all done. It's with you. It's all as it should be, and will continue to be.
Oh, man, now I'm going to have even more anxiety when I go to pray. Like, I already have to, think about what I want to call it, or what it should be called. And now when I pray, I'm going to be like, oh, God, should I be doing this?
No,
I'm kidding.
I'm actually, I'm trying to ease the anxiety by letting you know there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and that does feel like, I'll say it again, the ultimate act of faith is to say thank you. Just say thank you, I love you, thank you.
Yeah, that's all prayer is. It's a time of acknowledgement. And it's also, some are going to say this is bad, but you can also pray to yourself. Thank yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself some gratitude. As you're saying, with the religions, it's all about within.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, step outside and look within. Thank yourself. See all you've done for yourself. All the times you kept going, all the little things. Like,
that's another synchronicity, because this morning I was thinking, I was thinking, when we are good to ourselves, when we love ourselves, self-care in all the ways, self-care physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that is an act of love towards God. Like, God, I'm a child of God. God created me. So to love myself is another thank you to God. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you're God. We're all God. Everything's God. So, and yeah,
How could it not be?
yeah, with love, it's you have to
And
find it
Jesus
within
said,
yourself to be able to share it and radiate it to the world. Like if
definitely.
you're toxic within yourself, that's what you're gonna share with the world. Like if you're upset and angry, that's probably what the world's gonna feel.
Yeah.
But if you have a lot of love and passion for yourself and within, then you'll share it. And the beauty of vibrations and energy is it'll attract that as well.
Yeah.
Shout out manifestation. Shout out to the word and the frequencies and energy.
Yeah.
That was a
Michael
moment of silence.
Kurt Dre is pretty quiet.
He's actually been outside this whole time.
Of course he has.
Yeah, this is our little private moment.
This is our moment?
Yeah, this has been our private moment.
Oh, our private moment on radio. That's awesome. But something else, what do you think about, that it was online with what we were just talking about, of that Jesus said, you will do all of this and more. Like, I've been thinking about that lately and doing a little bit of research on it, and it ties into the Christ consciousness and Christ within, and he said, you will do all of this and more. And he was talking about everything he was doing, from the miracles to all that. And I feel like he was talking about, because he was a flesh and blood man, and he tapped in to, and I do believe that God sent him here to teach us all of these things, and that he, yeah. And so I feel like when that part of the scripture is, he's saying, you have all of this within you, you know?
I like seeing it on the personal level of we have all that power, all those abilities, all that grace and love.
Yes.
But I also like to see it as in the larger picture of like him talking to the whole of humanity. Like we do miracles every day. We do beautiful magic. Like look at all that we've accomplished. Yeah, we're saving people's lives every day. We're spreading that love. We're feeding people. Like,
oh wow, that's
all
very accurate.
Yeah, like we're all that flesh. We're all that blood. We're all the same. We're all that larger body. There's the idea of the Brahman, the original and singularity Brahman, who was bored, and he created Maya, the illusion that we see around us, the earth, the trees, the air. It's all Maya. And the Brahman was quite bored. So Maya said, you want to play a game? And he's like, yeah, of course. So she separates him into all these millions and billions of pieces and spreads them out all across the illusion that is Earth, and says, okay, put yourself back together. And we're all those pieces. We're just trying to come together.
Wow. I'll have to read more about that. I've never heard of that.
That's the Hindu faith?
Yeah, that'd be rooted in Hinduism. I did receive that at a festival. That was not from my reading, so I don't know the accuracy of it, but I absolutely... Yeah, I know. Where's the fact checker? He'd probably quote an entire paragraph for us. Brilliant Louis, man.
Right. Well, it's funny that you're talking about accuracy because when Michael and I were driving up yesterday, I was sitting there and I've been quiet for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I was like, you know what, I was just sitting over here thinking, like, literally everything is just someone else's opinion. Like, how do we really know, like, what's accurate, what's true? Everything is someone else's opinion or experience, perception. Like, okay, to give it a scientific example, like science, is so factual. Like, we're made up of atoms. Well, who decided that? And like, I understand you can see something under a microscope. Like, I get that, but like, you still don't know what that is, what that actually is. Like, we accept it now. Yes, we are made up of atoms. Yes, we are made up of cells. All of that, but according to who?
According to Maya.
There's some.
Maya didn't say that.
There's some song lyrics I like that literally go like, everybody knows something, but nobody knows nothing, or something like that. Yeah, we don't know anything, truthfully, at all, because it's all, as Michael Kurt, drum man over here, mentioned, it's Maya.
Right.
It's all the illusion, ever changing, ever shifting.
Ever.
The only constant is change.
That always, like, everything's an illusion, and like the simulation theory, like, you will not get me in a conversation about the simulation theory, because I get so uncomfortable and angry, like, because it just like evokes this in me, like, like, what do you mean this is all an illusion? It's real. Like, my family's real. The pain in the world is real. All this is real. And I've been like that for years, and it's something I've been thinking about recently. Like, why does that threaten you to your core, Brittany? Like, why does someone talking about the simulation theory or this is all an illusion make you so uncomfortable?
That's the simulation's protection program. It's security.
Oh God, I'm gonna stop you right there.
The unknown.
Like, unknown. Yeah, if I was Neo in the Matrix, I definitely would have taken the other pill. I never get the colors right. What is it?
The colors
the
were
red
an
and the blue.
illusion. Even the pill was.
Oh, geez, here we go.
Both pills.
That's really funny.
Honestly, it's funny in the Barbie movie, they pull that scene, and it's literally between Barbie picking, like, high heels or Birkenstocks. And she's like, no, give me the heels. Like, I don't want the truth.
I don't want the truth. I don't want the truth.
The truth is on both.
Well, I think the whole simulation theory thing, like, I think it makes me feel very angry and threatened and sad, is because I'm like, well, then what am I doing this for? And I understand, like, okay, we're saying, like, this right here, right now, this metaphysical plane, this is an illusion. It doesn't mean that God's not real and my spirit's not real, but for some reason, that's what I start to think. Well, if this, like, what's the point then? Like, why even have a simulation level? Like, I
remember thinking in school, what's the point of all this? Like, ugh. And yeah, that's all we're in. We're just in school.
That's what my mom calls it. She calls it Earth School.
Yeah.
Well, we have a body. I mean, that's pretty apparent. And I could say,
Yeah.
I don't have a body. It's just fake. It's like, well, metaphysically speaking, we're spirit. Yes, that's the animator of all life and all, all. But really, we have a body and requires maintenance, and we don't want to step out in front of a bus, or walk up the cliff. And it's like, okay, maybe I'll float. Maybe. But, so yeah, in our imagination, we can do whatever we want. We can be or go or be nothing, for instance. Like, be completely detached and have no mind and have no existence, be completely unaware that we have a body, and be like you know, people talk about out-of-body experience, a complete detachment in another spirit light body, and
Yeah.
a whole other consciousness. And
Absolutely.
for a lot of people, that's super real. I mean, that's a real experience. It's not an illusion, but
No, I had one. I told you about that, and
where'd you get it?
it was
I want one.
well, just become an alcoholic and drink yourself into a diabetic pancreatitis coma.
That's not a suggestion that all y'all should go out and do that. But that was a
I was
personal
being sardonic.
experience. Yeah, extremes like that, right?
Extremes.
Yeah.
Or someone gets into a car accident or whatever. I mean, yeah, it takes something extreme usually. Well, heck, I don't know, maybe not. I'm a
Near-death
terrible meditator,
experience.
but I've heard of people meditating and being able to do that.
Or using some plant medicine.
Plant medicine, yes, but you know what though? It feels different. I will say this, having experienced both, plant medicine, yes, I definitely experienced slightly out of body, like I was up there, for lack of it, up there or over there, whatever you want to call it. However, there was still, I was still aware that I was, at a shaman's fire pit, under the plant. Like some part of me was still aware, absolutely. During my experience in the hospital, there were big gaps of time where I was not aware. Like I was with these other beings and somewhere else. And like there wasn't even a Brittany. Like I had consciousness, and I was communicating with these three beings, but there was no Brittany. It was just consciousness.
That sounds
I mean,
frightening.
it was very weird communication, but...
Do you remember?
You were okay with that, right?
Yeah, that's what, yes. There were three beings, two were female. One had, very frantic, joyful, but almost a little too joyful energy. The other one was sad. And then the third one was male, and visually the best way I could describe him was he looked like a robotic praying mantis. And his energy was different. It wasn't evil, it wasn't bad. I never felt scared. I felt a little uncomfortable with him, but I also felt like a fascination the whole time. Fascination is the best word, but I've never experienced in the medicines or in drum, I never experienced completely no identity like I did in that experience.
And you were okay with all that ensued with that experience.
And it's crazy. I never realized that until right now talking about it with you guys. Like, I never realized, I talked about it that I wasn't terrified, nothing felt evil, but I didn't realize until talking about it now that there was no Brittany. There was consciousness, but there was no Brittany. Wow. That's nuts.
That's what I kept reiterating to hopefully to hear.
Wow. Well, you could have just told me that.
No, it don't work like that.
No, you need to come to it yourself.
I know you don't. That's why you're so effective with me. Because if you tried to tell me that, I'd be like,
There's a whole art to drawing. It's a very subtle, art to drawing people out. And the many years of drumming for people and listening to their experience has helped me a lot to, hold safe space and just ask very gentle questions.
How does that make you feel?
Very interesting.
Yeah, so that could be kind of under the heading of near death experience. People are completely gone from their body consciousness. I mean, from what I've read. I haven't had that I know of yet.
I love that he's almost that Michael Kurt Dre. I don't know. Michael Kurt is almost.
Just call me you.
Sounds jealous that he hasn't had a near-death experience.
Yeah, soon come. I just live vicariously at the moment. In the near-death
that's
experience
funny.
of others.
Yeah. Hi, kitties.
So, at the Medicine Drum here in the park last night in Carborough, you had a little revelation of your divine feminine, and when I touched the drum on your shoulder and that sort of thing. What happened with that, if you don't mind sharing that?
Oh, well, yes, that's something that's been a running theme, is that I've we all have male and female inside of us, and I've always been very comfortable with my masculine side and that kind of energy, but I never felt very comfortable or strong with my feminine side. And just to backstory, when the first time I went under the medicine drum with you, I had those visuals. I had the male side, and they were both Native American looking, and the male side of me was warm and very open, and we were communicating like consciously, and it was I felt so comfortable and warm. And then I jumped to the female side, and she was sitting and like staring at me, and I kept trying to get her to smile. Like I wanted her to smile at me and open up, and nothing. Like she wouldn't give me anything. Again, I wasn't scared, I wasn't terrified, I was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And last night, when under the drum, I felt, because we had that revelation, I don't know, I can't remember, I'm getting this, like, when I did the drum, I felt physical sensations more so than I ever have. And it was like, I could feel it up from the top of my left shoulder, only on my left side, and it was like a tingling, vibrating from my shoulder down to my arm, and as it moved down, it started to break off into tiny little pinpoints. It was like, I'm trying to think of a physical, visual representation of it.
I was imagining like
okay.
the reverse snowball effect.
Almost like, no, okay, you know the candy nerds?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you have like a big bag of nerds, and you dump them, you put the bag on someone's shoulder and then cut it open, and it all starts to fall down, but they separate and become tiny little pinpoints themselves. At first, it's like one big, massive, tingling, vibrating form of energy, and as it moved down the left side of my arm, it started to dissipate, and it was like I could feel each little nerd candy individually. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it until we were all talking about it afterwards, was that the left side is the feminine side of us. The left side is our feminine side. Yeah.
Sounds like a connection there.
Total connection.
To nurture
Total
yourself.
connection.
Sounds like a threshold
You guys
experience.
You guys have given me so much to think about today. I'm not going to get anything else done.
No, that's getting a lot done.
Well, I asked you yesterday on the way home about
Touche.
what's your favorite, well, kind of like that. What's your favorite or most important spiritual gift to you?
Oh, my favorite, most important spiritual gift to me. That's such a loaded question. I'm trying to...
It's a lot to unpack.
It is a lot to unpack. You know, I guess spiritual gift to me, I guess it would be, because of all the things that I've gone through, there's a lot, I'm not saying there's no fear, because that's where it's not designed that way. There's not no fear, but I feel like over the last couple of years, like, there's so much less fear, and it gets less and less. The deeper I go into all of this, it's uncomfortable, yes, but I'm less afraid as I continue on this path. Does that make sense? Because fear is what, now I'm getting into, like, I'm not trying to put words on it. Fear basically is what holds us back. And I was about to say, well, fear is, the devil's weapon, and I don't mean like the devil pitchfork, but, or if we want to transfer that to simulation theory, which I don't, but fear is what they, quote, they use to keep us like this. And
Keep us out
I
of
feel
spirit
like-
communication, maybe.
say again, I didn't hear you.
To keep us out of our spirit communication, maybe.
Yes, exactly. And as I said, I'm not saying I'm without fear, absolutely, but it has definitely, it's getting less and less as I continue on this path.
And you appreciate that, you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a dumb
I like
question,
that.
I know. But
I mean, don't get me wrong, some days I'm like, oh, I want to go back. Everybody knows this. Talk about the spiritual awakening process.
want to go home.
Once you hit a certain point, there is no going back. And I do have moments, and it's a little bit of, I'm sure, ego and self-pity, or laziness, maybe. I don't know. Well, I do have moments sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to go back,
Back to what? Source?
No.
To yourself.
Well, I mean, always, of course, that's of course, but I'm saying, as far as living day-to-day life on Earth, there are some days where I just want to go back to where I didn't have any of these experiences. I didn't know anything. I could just, quote, be normal and just go about my, ignorance, spiritually ignorant. That's the way to sometimes I still wish I was spiritually ignorant.
We are. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No worries there.
Oh, that's funny.
Awaken. Yeah, awakening, right? That's kind of like a spiritual term. To
Yes,
awaken.
exactly.
To awaken from the dream
Because it's
that we're separate from Source.
right.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, right?
And maybe, I just thought about this when you were saying that, the illusion that we're separate from Source. Perhaps some part of me, because of where I am in my life, physically and spiritually, mentally, emotionally, the thought that I am Source, Source is me, God, and what Jesus said, you will do all this and more. Because of the way I feel about myself right now, I want to say, you've got to be kidding me. Like, if you're me, then I'm in trouble, buddy.
Well, let's
You know what I mean?
Let's always remember that God chose to come down in mortal human form and suffer,
Yeah.
like intentionally, to run the whole gamut of the human emotional suffering experience, but then to say, look, you can do this stuff too. This is
Right.
not hocus pocus. I mean, this is real miracles and signs and wonders that you also can do if, of course, the big if you follow me. And follow me doesn't mean follow me. It means do as I do. Pray, meditate, talk to God, be in the Spirit, get into the zone, and don't come out. Well, don't come out, you know what I mean, but
Yes.
it says, do as I do, and you will do this and more, which is
Right.
hard to conceive, right? Do more than God, but I think that's a bit of a metaphor. You know.
But as you and I were discussing too, and that's exactly, it's nearly impossible to, when you have a mortgage and a 9-to-5 job, to immerse oneself in all this and to be able to go that deep on the spiritual path, right?
Survival is takes up a lot of attention span.
Definitely.
It's a form of worship. Yeah, you gotta keep your temple and everything.
Our thoughts and
Yeah, I mean that's all one, but yeah, that survival is the body and the Trinity there. You gotta keep it up so mind and spirit are kept up.
Yeah.
It's a form of worship.
and who are we worshiping? Are we worshiping money? And survival
No.
and our body needs, or
It's always about worshiping the self, because the self is source, and worshiping all around you. Because that's source too.
worship. What would be another word for worship?
Praise, gratitude, love, appreciation.
If I'm not in gratitude, I'm just not. And that's uncomfortable.
You're just not.
I'm uncomfortable when I'm not in a meditative, prayerful, trusting that everything's working out and always will, and in a state of wonder and gratitude. If I'm not there, I'm back in my survival ego mind going, why me?
Isn't it kind of beautiful
Absolutely.
though, that pain and anger or whatever almost is what sends you back to worshiping? You know?
Seems like the system we're in.
Yeah, well, it's like the opposite helps you find your way back to it. Like, you know, you could have someone that maybe has never prayed, never believed in religion, and then, oh my goodness, now their life's on the line, and they all of a sudden are starting to say, God, please help me. Like,
No
Right.
atheists
Which
in the
happens a lot.
foxhole.
I've heard a lot of those stories of that. Of
That-
people who had no spirituality or religion in them, and then something happens, and it's like it comes out of them instinctually.
Yeah.
You know?
well, it's
It's innate, yeah.
you talking about fear almost being more of that demonic side of it, but often that fear is what sends you to God.
To seek out.
It sends you
I mean-
closer to source. Like,
So give me fear, so I can get closer to God.
Yeah, but
yeah, thank goodness
I mean, you're
for
not
all
wrong.
the emotions.
You're not wrong, but personally, I have spent so many years living in fear and out of the survival mode, the ego. Like, I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong. Absolutely, it sends me back there. But I'm just so tired of suffering to get there. So,
Well,
hence
that-
that's why where I am physically on Earth right now in my life is that I have got to find a way to stay in God and Source without suffering.
But isn't that what sent you on that path?
Right, but I'm telling you, my pancreas can't take another round of suffering. my body can't. My spirit feels like it can't. Obviously, my spirit is much more resilient than my body, but I am just, yes, it did send me on this path. You're right, and I can honor that, and I don't have to hate it or feel sorry for myself about it or try not to look at it. It's not that, but I feel like I've received the lessons I needed to receive from my painful alcoholic journey. Like, check the boxes, you know.
You
And
you earned your
I'm not
crown
saying
of
I'm not ever
thorns.
going to suffer again. Like, of course, but I will suffer emotionally. I mean, and I might have other physical sufferings, and that's okay. But I guess what I'm talking about is more direct, just personal to me. Like, I believe that alcoholism was a huge part of my journey and suffering, and it did send me, absolutely. I mean, it gave me a near-death experience where I had a revelation of that I wasn't scared, and there was nothing evil waiting to eat me up, you know? But I'm good now. I get it. Okay. Next.
And onto the stage walks Midway.
Right. Exactly. Because I believe that I understand you're right, but I believe that there are other ways to get there without intense suffering.
You do?
Just
me.
remember, diamonds are formed under pressure.
Well, then I am a 4-carat rock, baby.
Yeah, you're
Well,
shining. You're
That
glimmering.
and more.
Oh, my goodness.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, my goodness, Kurt, I just walked and I just found the rooster that I painted 8-9 years ago at your house. Remember?
Really? I didn't even know
I
it.
cannot.
Your grandma
Oh, you're
must
being-
have packed that, because I don't remember packing that.
No,
Huh.
no, I never had this. You brought it with you. You didn't bring. Is he messing with me?
Wait,
No,
no,
he's
no, no.
serious.
No, was that the like, the thing wasn't a picture, it was a...
No, it's the rooster. Listen, it's by the chili pepper plants over here.
Oh!
The chili pepper plants. The rooster.
that's
I painted
yours?
that 9 years ago when I was
I have
Same with you
carried
at
that
Park Place.
around for all these years in all my movings. Oh my word.
Oh,
mean,
you've been with Kurt all this time.
Well,
yeah.
here
Oh,
and there, a little bit here, a little bit there.
He carried more than a rooster that I painted around. He carried.
Your memories.
He's kept up. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
No kidding. Wow, that
No
makes
kidding.
me feel good. Make me feel good again.
Right?
Do it.
What is he doing?
Sun is shining.
It's just curtain.
It's curtains. It's curtains for you. You dirty rat.
All right. What else? What else you got, Ian?
Well, communication. That's the gift I want to move better into on this journey.
Communication?
Yeah.
With the self?
Just physical plane, astral plane, causal plane, spirit plane, all the planes. Communicate, talk, get into conversation.
Communication
Fear,
is
lust,
so important
greed,
on every
hate,
plane.
envy, joy, ecstasy. Communicate. Hey, nice to see you. Fear. Come on in, let's have some tea and coffee.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that is the light, you know, it's a full spectrum of all the colors. It's not just one. Like, all those emotions, all of the whole journey is what is forming that light. And I love that question of what is your greatest spiritual gift? And maybe that's spirituality, and maybe on the bigger picture it's yourself.
Which self are you talking about?
The one self. Uno.
Oh,
It's a question that could have definitely has many, many layers and probably many, many answers. The more
That's
you
what-
peel at it.
That's with everything.
or is that the sandwich theory?
No, that's
Okay.
that's you're a great friend, but sometimes you annoy me, and I love you.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. The sandwich theory. I've never heard anyone else talk about the sandwich theory.
That was all
My
cat.
mother worked in childcare for years, and she was the first and only person until right this moment who ever talked about the sandwich theory. Like when someone would pick their kid up and she'd have to tell them something bad they did, she would start with something positive, like little Joey colored a beautiful picture today. He bit Allison's face. He did such a good job helping it clean up.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. The sandwich theory, man. I've never heard anyone else talk about the sandwich theory.
Good cop, bad cop.
Definitely. Definitely.
So there's a ring here that someone left. Dave posted it as an email, and I just picked this up off the counter, and you'll never guess what is on this ring as an image.
What is it?
Foxes.
Are you kidding me?
So your representative spirit guide is here in spirit with us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
The fox, man. The fox,
Silver.
my spirit animal. That's so funny. Synchronicities all around.
Ever. Now you got it. You're a very own foxtail representative.
I definitely do. We found a dead fox on the property, and it has the most beautiful fluffy tail. And basically, Kurt went and cut the tail off for me yesterday. That sounds a little morose, but
You gotta
yeah,
turn
at
it.
first, when he first said that, he was like, "Do you want the tail?" Like, but some part of me was like repelled, and I was like, "No, it's dead. I feel sad." And then I was like, "Well, it's already dead." And the Native Americans revered and said, use every part of the animal that you can. And so then I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take the tail."
Will y'all please turn it into a tie? The movie I was telling y'all about last night, the Fantastic Mr. Fox, they shoot his tail off, and so one of the like company owners that he's against is literally wearing his tie, or his tail
Wearing
as a
his
tie.
tail as a tie? That's amazing. No, I was gonna. My plan is to wear it as an actual tail.
Oh yes. That's awesome.
It is. It is.
Are you looking forward to another non-Brittany, Bridget experience?
Am I looking forward
Or was the
to
one
dying?
time enough for
Am I
you?
looking forward to dying from this plane? Basically, is what you're asking.
Near-death experience to be, yeah.
Well, maybe that's the symbolism there. Maybe the fox energy that who you were is past.
I thought the exact same thing.
Cool.
I did. I was like, that's very symbolic. That old energy. And then I was like, crap, does that mean I have to find a new spirit animal? Because I have so much fox stuff.
Talisman.
Talisman. No, to answer your question, my near-death experience and all the suffering is making me want to and working towards truly appreciating being on Earth and being a part of this life and being fully present here. That sounds very simple, but as we all know, there's all kinds of different types of suffering, mental, emotional, all the things. However, no, I'm not looking forward to leaving this plane. If anything, it's made me want to be here more. That being said, there's a lot less fear about leaving, obviously, but absolutely not. No, I want to soak up the earth, and I want to experience this fully present and appreciate it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was reading a guy the other day. He said one of the major problems with humans is we don't realize or understand or appreciate what we have, what actually we have, and we don't appreciate.
Absolutely.
We're not looking at our gifts and our talents and the beauty, and we're complaining about this and that out there. We're not really here present, and that's
right.
The real problem.
That's on Saturday. Well, I've always been I've never really been interested in fasting. But
yeah.
Saturday I woke up. Something said,
workshop.
Yeah, something said you need to fast today, and I said okay. And
you never said okay before.
Well, I've never been asked to.
Oh.
And it did bring that awareness to what nourishment, oxygen is. Water was so much better that day. And then when I finally did eat, it was like, it really highlighted the simplicity of our needs. Like, we don't really need much more. Just some nourishment in ourselves, and community.
Yep.
Whether that's around you or inside of you. Yeah, it's the simple things.
You will do this and more.
Yes, that's very true, and until we're deprived of something, we don't appreciate it.
Yeah, it is that, you don't know what you have until you lose it sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of along those lines, yeah. So take
everything
away. Take my body, take my consciousness.
Or acknowledge and be thankful for it so it isn't taken away.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's how I'm trying to live.
And that's being present in the moment and appreciating and grateful for our breath, our hands, our fingernails, our hair. I mean, it's like a constant. I mean, the dirt, the rocks, the sky. You know, and this is the meditation of the yogis, right? Well, certain aspects is deep, deep appreciation for this exact second, no, and not letting the mind, appreciating the mind, but not letting the intrusive thoughts of programming enter in, because we're too deeply in gratitude. I don't know. It's the key to the lock
Absolutely.
that opens up the, Christ consciousness, as far as I could tell.
Definitely.
Because I love
And
you.
it's a-
Why?
And it's a practice. That's why people talk about, like, I love yoga, and it's a practice, the meditative practice. Anything, it feels like in Earth School, is you have to make it a practice, a discipline. I don't like the word discipline because that sounds kind of negative. So a practice. A practice to me is much more approachable.
Yeah.
Like, I can practice. You start using the word discipline towards me, and I'm like, ugh.
Can't tell me what to do.
But don't you tell me what to do. But practice, yes, a practice.
Repetition. That's why the drum is so effective, right? The medicine drum, it's the repetition, the predictable,
Definitely.
reliable, We can count on that happening again and again and again, so we can let down our guard. The ego can let down its guard of hypervigilance and just like float downstream and allow that rhythm to safe.
Float, yeah.
The rhythm and the steady predictability and the practice of consistency creates safe space just automatically. But
Yeah, and that's also along the same lines of that. That's why I feel like going back to living in the country, having a small farm, whatever you want to call it, but I think that is so helpful in spirituality, because you're working with the earth, which is God. You're working towards just everything you need, or simple needs, not chasing, excessive money and consumerism and all of that. All of that has taken us as human beings so much further away from spirituality. And I have known for a while now, like, I need to get back to the country, to a simpler way. Like, I know that. I've known it. My higher self was probably screaming it at me. That I'm not saying, let me clarify, I'm not saying like that moving out to the country is going to fix someone's alcoholism or addiction overnight. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's exponentially helpful in the process. It just is. For so many reasons.
I kind of correlate that with your separation from, like, the divine feminine, because, the divine feminine, in a way, is earth and nature. That's mama, mother.
Interesting.
It is what nourishes us.
Yeah. And that's maybe what she was screaming at me, to get back to the earth. And very interesting, Ian.
Yeah, it's not the nature versus nurture, it's nature is nurture.
Absolutely. That needs to be a t-shirt.
If anybody heard that, that's ours.
That's ours. Copyright, done. Stamp it. Wow. All right, well, I have to jump off here. I don't know if I was about to say, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, and then I remembered, as Kurt keeps telling me, that I am not that important and people aren't going to get offended if I do what I need to do.
that first part I'm against, but yeah, you should always do what you got to do. Do
what you gotta.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, this has been super fun. And I also want to sit down and write down some things and think about some of the things we talked about.
Yeah, please do. We
and pray about it, or maybe not pray about it as the ultimate act of faith.
I mean,
I don't know.
You writing it down and acknowledging it, that's praying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I love you guys.
We love you. Kurt stepped across the street to the Gray Squirrel. Thank you all for your bathroom there. And yeah, you know he loves you.
I mean, I can keep talking until he comes back. You want?
You do whatever you want. I am a little curious about more of your take from nature.
More of my take from nature?
Yeah, like, what's it been reminding you of lately? What are you like, oh, I totally forgot this about being in nature?
Well, so I've been out here not even a week yet, almost a week. It'll be a week tomorrow. And I feel like I'm just now being able to come out of my head in little spurts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the first couple days, I was still definitely recovering from alcohol, and I was physically just beat up, and mentally and emotionally. But so in my experience, when you quit drinking, the first couple days are all about taking care, bouncing back physically, healing physically, and then comes the mental, emotional anguish of, oh God, I can't believe I'm back here again. I don't mean physically back to the same place. I mean, I can't believe I'm back in this place, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So got to get through that. And somewhere around day 4 or 5, I was able to take a couple beautiful walks, and I appreciated nature, and I knew, like, it was deep breaths and thank you. I was able to start saying thank you and really mean it. And now I feel like I'm just standing outside right now. The last 2 mornings I've been able, and I've come out and I've sat in the sun for a couple hours and just said, thank you, God. Thank you. I'm such a sun soaker, sun worshiper, like, just thank you. And yeah, my take on nature is that I need to continue to spend as much time outside as I can and be fully present and appreciate it. And it's healing. It is healing. You've heard of grounding, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You've been out
that's
there
something that's been a
barefoot?
running theme. I've had several people tell me, like, you need to do more grounding. You need to put your bare feet in the earth. You need to sit and touch flowers, touch grass, do all that, because there's healing properties in this.
Yeah, go hug a tree.
So that's my plan. What did you say?
I said, yeah, go hug a tree or sit underneath
Go hug a tree.
it and
Absolutely.
ask it if it has some wisdom to share.
Okay. That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, I know one morning Sunday service out at Shikori, the Grassroots Festival. This one gentleman on stage was talking about taking a note from the trees and, growing, and it was fall, and so he was talking about letting go when it's time. Let the leaves fall, let all that's weighing you down just fall, and allow something new to grow.
That's really funny that you say that, because earlier this morning I had the thought, whether it was from, whatever, I'm not going to go into that God or me, it's the same, but this thought popped into my head and it said, you've got a lot of things you just need to lay down. Just put it down,
Yeah.
Just put it down. You don't, I believe there's a lot of value in conventional therapy, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, yes, there are good things in that. However, I feel like I'm past the point where I don't need to go into a psychotherapist and start analyzing everything from my childhood all the way up to the present moment and picking it apart and picking my parents apart and picking this apart. Like, I don't feel like that's going to serve me in any way. That's just me. I feel like what I need to do is just put some things down, and not in a way of like I'm going to shove them in the closet, in the dark closet, and I don't want to look at it, but just lay it down, just lay it down. It's okay. It's done. And I'm still here, and
stronger for it.
I'm stronger for it, and everybody has their stuff they've gone through. I have, it's forgiveness. Forgiveness, that's a big part of, I believe in relief, spiritual relief, mental relief. Forgiveness. Just forgive and then move on. In love, like, just forgive and move on, because anything that I'm trying to hold on to, or I want quote closure, or I want some accountability from someone, that like anything someone else has done, I've done, pretty much.
Yeah, we're all doing it. We're all the same. We all have the same emotions and reactions, and we all make
right.
mistakes and hurt people, and we all love people.
Hurt people.
Yeah, monsters make monsters.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein theory.
This is very true. Oh, that reminds me of, like, talking about bringing it back to demons, which I don't like that word, but demons, darkness, these lost spirits or souls, or whatever you want to call them, whatever word you want to put on it.
Yeah, let's call it the yin.
The yin?
Yeah, yin and yang. I believe yin
Yeah.
is the more of the downside.
But what I have found has been my instinct is to pray for them and to be like I hope whatever pain you're in, like, you can cross over to God, and because that's what they are. It's pain and loss, and they're lost. And I find, like, the most effective way that I've dealt with dealing with that kind of energy is praying it away, praying it to move on.
I often see, I feel like almost understanding needs to come in order to have that forgiveness. And so with that idea, or to recognize that hurt people is understanding that they've gone through this life that is so painful, and they're just hurt as well.
Yeah.
And then at that point you're able to forgive them, because it's like, they're just a result of their reality, and I'm sorry you're in this too.
Yeah, and the flip side of that, logically, intellectually, someone who's been raped or had a family member murdered or been abused, like, I can understand. I've experienced something, a traumatic, terrible event, and, like, I can understand how difficult, how impossible it feels to take that stance on it, to say, oh, you're suffering, you're in pain, that's why you did what you did. Like, I get it. However, and I was there, and some days I backstep and go back to that place of, nope, that's pure evil, bad, there's no forgiveness there, that person deserves zero forgiveness. However, what I have found is all that does is keep me down there, keep me with them in that pain, keep me in that darkness, That's all it does. So the darkness wins double time. You already had this terrible thing happen to you, and now you can't forgive or acknowledge or move on, so you're still just there in that dark place. And that's been my experience with it. is I don't want to be there anymore, you know? So forgiving someone or something, a tragic event, pain, abuse, forgiving that situation is the greatest act of self-care and self-healing from that situation one can do, I think.
It frees you from it. Yeah, I mean that was some crazy wisdom. That is very heavy.
Oh Lord, don't tell me that.
No, yeah, no.
I'm kidding.
No, knowledge is worth only comes from sharing it.
Right. And I will be the first one to say this is just my experience. You know, I can't tell you to do that because I don't know how you feel on the inside and I don't know your journey. I don't know that, but I can tell you this is what has made me feel better. You know?
And we're all the same. So
right.
I mean it's funny you can read something over and over, somebody can tell you something over and over, but until you like truly witness or understand it on your own level, it means nothing.
Right.
I mean, you're going back to all religions, you know, it's that forgiveness. It's
absolutely
releasing the power from that situation, those people.
Yeah, and until you experience something. I mean, I think that's why 12-step programs have so much power in them. Is it's everyone sharing their own experience, you know, and it's not judgment, and it's not. I mean, yes, there are steps, there are guidelines, all that, but the core of those programs are, hey, I see you, I did it too, this is what has helped me. This is what has helped me. That's it. You know, I'm not telling you what to do, but you can try it. I mean, everything in AA is called a suggestion. It's a suggestion. Try it. If you don't like it, or take what you want and leave the rest. You know, that's it.
I definitely witnessed that this weekend at our session on Saturday. Shout out to Three Roots, the Three Roots.
Three Roots, huge shout out. Oh my God, I love that place.
Yeah,
I love those people. Amazing.
I love in life when you can almost witness yourself and other people talking, or it's like yourself is talking through them, or sources. You know, it
yes.
is witnessing the similarities, the likeness, the common experience, the common emotions. You know, this roller coaster of life is not a one-man little cart. You know, we're all on the same ride. And we're all on a different ride, but it's the same path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you the question of what Kurt asked me of how do you order the spiritual gift that you're most grateful for?
Everything.
Everything. That is so you. Everything.
Yeah. To be appreciative of everything is such a spiritual gift. Yeah, that is the gift.
Yeah.
That is. It's like that's the package that holds everything inside of it. Like, yeah, everything. The one is the greatest gift. The recognition of it, the awareness, the acknowledgement of it, the understanding.
And anyone who's listening and who doesn't know Ian, I've only known him not even a week, but almost a week, and that is 100% your vibe. That is 100%. And there's nothing disgenuine about it, or that is what you emanate. There's a calmness. Like, I feel calmer when I'm around you. Like, that's, you definitely have that. I don't know how you got it exactly, but you definitely have it.
A lot of dying.
Well, wow, a lot of dying.
Yeah, you gotta die to live. It's
That is true.
taking it back. Yeah, I read somewhere someone was, I know I said this last night, but really we only know God or source through living. So you gotta live, and by
Yeah.
living you are getting in touch with source.
Definitely.
Getting in touch with yourself, which is source. Getting in touch with others, which is source. Getting in touch with nature, and yeah.
Yeah.
Buddha?
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 Buddha? Buddha? Buddha.
Buddha in you,
Buddha.
Buddha in me, Buddha in the tree.
Love, 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 love.
Love.
Open, open, open.
Okay, now I really do have to go. Kurt's back. Kurt, I tried to get off the call earlier, and then I felt bad, and then I'm so glad I didn't. Cause I didn't want to leave you alone, and then I was.
Girl, you don't want
I'm
to
so
take
glad
up
that I.
space. Yeah.
Thank you for staying
Yeah.
with me, Bridget. Or
Oh. Stop calling me Bridget. We'll address that later.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. I mean, Ian. Thank you for staying with me, Ian.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. And yes, I'm gonna jump off here and write some things
Well,
down.
hang on
and
one second.
This has been so much fun. I can't wait to do it again next week.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Well, one more thing, okay? Hang on a sec.
Okay.
I would like Ian to reiterate about the drum meditation where you said you became the medicine in the cauldron. Could you talk a little more about that?
All right. For the Harry Potter fans, it was like dropping the baby Voldemort in that bath soup thing. And yeah, I witnessed like dropping a childlike version of myself, or I don't know, just a smaller form of myself into like a cauldron as my own medicine. Like, it is me. I am the medicine for myself. And then it was becoming that being that I dropped in there and almost dissolving into the oneness of what was in the cauldron. Like, it wasn't a separation like a soup. It was almost becoming the smoothie, like all within it. And that's what we're doing. We're dissolving. We're becoming one with the experience, one with what we're in. I know I had a revelation a while back, and it seems simple and silly, but it's not the thought of being on Earth, but the idea that we're within it and a part of it, going all the way up to its atmosphere. Like, we're not on top of Earth, like we're within it. Like, it doesn't just stop at the ground, it's all around us. We're within it and a part of it. Yeah, we're Earth ourselves.
Key at Three Roots Center at our workshop Saturday was talking about that. We are the Earth, we're in the Earth.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I had that a while back. That was Quest Fest. Out, yeah. With Bagel. Love you, bud.
Love you, Bagel.
Yeah, I was laid out across the ground. My back was against the ground. I had my arms spread out, and I was pretty much hugging the earth with, like, I was hugging the earth the reverse way you'd hug someone. Like, hugging it with my back and my arms, trying to, like, wrap around it. And then I was like, wait, I'm within it. Like, yeah. It's not just below us or anything. It's all around us. We're a part of it.
Definitely. All right. Well, I love you guys, and let the journey continue.
Midway continues. Growing, growing,
Midway
growing.
continues.
We love you.
I love you too.
Love you,
Well,
sweetheart.
talk to you later.
Oh,
all right.
wonderful.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to have
What?
you on the air live at Legends from the Painted Cave, WCOM FM LP, Carborough Chapel Hill, with Brittany, Ian, and your host, Michael Drum. Thank you, love.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Let that be a lesson to you. Learn from others.
Let it all be a lesson to you. Yeah, that is like the negative emotions. It's almost not like dismissing them, but what lessons are they trying to teach me? You know.
Who's that?
Are negative emotions. You know. To have fear or sadness means like fear. You know.
It's a whole nother level of feeling alive, is to become the observer and say, wait, I'm actually experiencing fear.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have to teach me?
Yeah, it's let's say you fear for your life, but its lesson there is how much you love your life. You love life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be scared of losing it. You know.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a very simple, clear message there.
The sadness is from loving, and yeah, it's all love.
Yeah. And allowing ourselves to recognize, right, whatever emotion is happening is okay.
It's got its purpose.
I'm a human being, and this is what happens to humans. And you know, I'm a famous pusher awayer. Oh, I don't like that. No, push. You know, that emotion. And I'll just ignore that. It's like, yeah, okay, you just keep on with that, and I'll just keep in the emotions. Well, I'll just knock louder and harder and show up in your dreams as nightmares. Look, I have a message for you.
I have a lesson. I'm trying to say something.
Listen to what you're hearing. Hear what is being said. Presence. Life is a gift, that's why it's called the present. The present. All these wonderful cliches.
Your presence is a present.
Yeah, I was in 2000, August 1st, 2006. Had my house and my wife and my kids and the little animal farm and my business and the taxes and, you know, just the full catastrophe, as Zorba the Greek would say. And boy, there was a lot riding on my shoulders. And walked out one morning out of the sliding glass door and going out to the back where I have my shop, the back part of the property. And I paused at one of the gates out to the main pasture. And it was just, you know, one of those feelings that just happened. It's like, what? And it's like I didn't think it. It's like happened to my body and my mind. It's like, what a beautiful day. And then suddenly I heard the birds, like, you know, like I never heard them before. You know, they were just so crisp and there and alive and real. And I'm like, huh. I paused and rested my arms on the gate. This is very interesting experience. This is really different, especially since the stress of surviving. Like, okay, this is really nice. Well, so what's happening? And like before I even asked the question, hardly, it's like, oh, I'm a born again Christian. And I really didn't know much about that, but somehow that I'm like, okay. So I turned around, went back in the house, rummaged around through my books, found a Bible, King James Version, And I started reading, and I started reading right at Sermon on the Mount. Opened the book, and wow, I was a Jesus freak, man. It was like there was nothing in my awareness when I wasn't working, but reading that book. And a few things really stood out right away, and one of them was right at the beginning when the legend Christ came out of the desert from his 40 days of being tempted, and he passed that, lust and money and power. Walked into town, and there's some fishermen there at the shoreline, and they said, "Oh," and a couple of them, they look over, John and James maybe, and they see this guy, right, and they Master, and they come out of the water, say, "Master, you're here. We've been waiting for you." And he says, "Follow me." And that's it. They dropped everything. But that was always curious when follow me. There's more to that, as we were talking about earlier. It's not just follow me, but be me, do what I do, and you will do what I do and more. Of course, that's, I'm just a human. I can't do that.
Not with that belief. You say you can't, you can't.
It's the revelation that we're divine first in this mechanism, this body, and we can gain that slowly but surely, sometimes suddenly, occasionally, but generally it takes some meditation, some quiet time, learning, practicing, repetition of getting quiet. Feeling our feelings and saying, that's okay. It's okay for me to have emotions. Oh my gosh. It's okay to sit here with grief or sorrow or suffering or joy or ecstasy or elation. It's okay to just be cool and quiet. But oh no, I got to do something. I got so much to do. Well, it's true. We do. We got a body. We got stuff to do. But that lasted about 6 years, and I remember, 3 or 4 years in, I was like, God, Jesus, why is my life so stressful and my marriage falling apart? And here I'm supposed to be, this God-filled person, and it's just a wreck. And it was a bit of a moment. The dichotomy.
Thank goodness for that.
Life. Huh?
Thank goodness for all that.
Yeah, I'm human.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be here and who you are if it wasn't for those moments.
I am human with human experiences. Not isolated and not alone. It's not just happening to me. It's happening to all beings,
All the yous.
creatures. Life is suffering. Or not. But there's a way out, and that is to seek the Godhead, to pray, meditate, gratitude. Final closing words, my friend Ian.
All right, I'm going to try to quote this sentence correctly, get the right wording. I think it goes, love, 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 love. I hope I got that right.
I think he got it in reverse.
Oh. All right. I'll get it right.
Try it again.
Love, 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 love.
Another legend from the painted cave is born. painted cave our imagination. Love you guys. We're signing off.
Peace.
Michael Drum, peace out. Love you all.
To WCOMLP 103.5 FM, your voice in the community.
Welcome to Radio Survivor. We're here for the love of radio and sound. I'm Jennifer Waits.
Hi, I'm Paul Reesmandel.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eric Klein.
On the show today, we're traveling back in time. It's March 1932, and a horrible crime has just occurred. The kidnapping of the 20-month-old son of famed aviator Charles Lindbergh and his wife Anne Morrow Lindbergh. Imagine that you were living in the United States in 1932 and wanted to follow breaking news about this story. If it were 2021, the answer might be Twitter or the internet, but in the early 1930s, it was obviously a very different media landscape, largely consisting of print journalism, newsreels, and radio. Our guest, Thomas Doherty, joins us to provide historical context and shed light on radio's role in the media frenzy surrounding the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby and subsequent trial, and why it was a turning point for how breaking news was covered. Thomas Doherty, professor of American Studies at Brandeis, is the author of Little Lindy is Kidnapped.
Suffering is on air, Mr. Hiccups. I love
Thanks for joining us today on Radio Survivor.
you.